Evening, everybody. Thank you all very much for coming back tonight to the pigsty. Tonight we have Nerthulas. Would that be correct?
Yeah, Nerthulas or
Nerth.
Nerth.
Yeah, we'll go with Nerth because that's less syllables, easier for me to say.
Yeah, okay.
If anybody remembers me talking to Wonder Crab a couple of weeks ago, I met Nerth through Wonder Crab's server, and then Wonder Crab reached out and said you wanted me to join your server. So I've joined your server. We have had a chat or two, and this is the way I do shit. So now, in my world, welcome, Nerth, to...
Yeah,
but I know
absolutely.
you don't have a channel or anything like that, but do you want to just give a quick synopsis, so to speak, and maybe your belief system, just a wee quick who you are for the people watching?
Right. So who I am has changed a lot recently, and that's because I used to be someone who was sort of um, okay. So before my spiritual experience, I used to be someone who was sort of depressed, isolated, and but I was still in an interesting position because the position that I was in was I was in many different communities, many different political communities or philosophical communities,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sort of getting a taste of everything. Um, and my beliefs would sort of vacillate between many different systems, and I would just sort of float between these people and sort of blend in with whoever was there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You take on at the time the personification of who they want you to be.
Yeah, in a way, yes. But I was the kind of person who would go and act like an extreme right winger in left wing circles, and then go act like a left winger in right wing circles. And I would do this to sort of provoke people
You're a
to make.
troll.
Yeah, I was a troll, but I would do this because, in a way, because um, I was frustrated with the lack of truth in both systems. So I was not committed to either because I saw flaws in both.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have a solution or anything like that. I couldn't even dream of a solution. But behind my trolling was a little bit of, I guess, a Socratic spirit. Um, but like you say, it could also be just lack of uh, lack of knowledge,
Yeah.
or lack of willpower or self assertion or something. But so what happened to me on um, June the 26th, the 25th, 26th, and 27th was I had, for the first time in my life, I used psychedelics.
Right.
And I had an experience that
Yeah.
I was complete. Oh, and I was an agnostic before. When I was this kind of vacillating person in
Did you
vacillating,
know of the term agnostic, or were you just not sure in your
I
own
did
mind?
know of the term agnostic,
Right.
yes. So before I was an agnostic, I was a really serious atheist. Um, then I sort of became agnostic by thinking about these philosophical questions
Do you mind me
and
asking what
realized,
psychedelic you took?
yeah, I took LSD.
Uh-huh.
Um, so this was the first time I'd ever used psychedelics,
Never,
and
never myself. But
never before. No, well, I used marijuana the month, literally the month of June. Like I started the month of June, and before that, I was I grew up no drugs whatsoever, no
do
alcohol.
you mind
I
me
grew up.
asking what part of America? Are you Bible Belt? Are you
I'm
East
Texas.
Texas? Okay, so
Yeah.
pretty religious.
Um, no, I mean, I did not have a religious upbringing.
Hmm.
I had a half-hearted attempt at a Catholic upbringing
A
when I was
cultural
younger,
Catholic upbringing is what we would say over here. You go to church and you go to the funerals and
but
you
it was
get
kind
christened
of
and
failed.
all. Yeah,
It was kind of failed
yeah.
because I declared myself an atheist when I was like 7 or 8 years old,
Hmm.
um, to sort of get away from that. But I had anyway, back to the drug experience.
Sorry, go on ahead.
I had an experience that I was completely unprepared for. Um, what happened was more or less, so there I was on the 25th, and I was sort of um, when I took it, I sort of became a leftist. Um, when I took LSD, I sort of committed to leftism, and it was not a happy thing. It was like thinking, oh, okay, well, this must be true, and I've fucked up by committing myself to being a conservative in the past, because conservatism is just ignorance or evil.
So, but by leftism, what do you mean? Like, a lot of people use leftism and progressive, being progressive. So,
Yeah.
psychedelics would be opening your mind and making you more aware. And
Right. So there are many phases of my psychedelic experience. What I'm
Mm-hmm.
explaining is the first phase of my psychedelic experience. Like I popped one tab of acid at this point. And what I mean by leftism is more or less, I figured that the resistance to the social zeitgeist that is being created and ran by the status quo was futile and misguided.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I thought I realized. Um, and it was a bitter realization, because I thought that I was excluded from it, and that many good people that I know were excluded from it because they were trapped in sort of this hateful right wing thing that was the alt right, right?
Yeah, well, it's the status quo. It's the non-changing. We all look back on it, and conservatism isn't great.
Right. So that was the first phase of my drug experience when I did a few tabs or something like that. And I was actually talking with Wonder
Use
Crab.
responsibly, folks. Use responsibly.
Yes, yes, it's used responsibly. Um, and I was in talking with Wonder Crab and other people, and I was just sort of doing this thing, this catastrophizing thing, telling them, "Oh no, this all this silly conspiracy stuff. You got to stop that. The elites know what's going on. They're better than you. They're better than us, and they're in control of society. And you're dumb right wing people." And I felt like I could say this because I used to be really into the alt right and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not like I said, I was a vacillator before. So I
What do you
was
mean by
into it.
vacillator?
So I was someone
It's
who
not
was
something I understand. I've never heard that word before
oh,
myself.
okay. I was someone who would go back and forth, or I would go into something and not fully commit to it. So I was a guy. I was the kind of person who would go
Oh, I
into
understand
alt
what you
right
mean now.
for.
No, I understand what you mean
Okay,
now. Yeah, Grant.
right. Okay. So then I took even more, and I ended up taking 630 micrograms of the LSD,
Mm-hmm.
which is a massive, massive amount. That is a heroic dose of LSD. And I ended up taking 2 hits of 90% THC. And after that, uh, the trip really started. Like beforehand, it was just on the LSD. It was really just sort of shaking, crying, and being this kind of emotional wreck, babbling about
Well, that's
how
maybe not a bad thing, but yeah.
yeah.
It's good every now
um,
and again to get a cry out.
yeah. So, but when it really hit, oh man, I was not prepared for this. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, what happened was I so the
I
feeling
love the way you
that
get closer to the mic to tell this story.
oh yeah, the feeling you get like when you wake up from a dream that you thought was super real.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, so that feeling times like a million is what happened to me when I did this.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically, reality collapsed, or what happened was, I can tell you exactly what I saw, but basically I realized something, and when I realized that something, it broke the simulation that is reality for me.
That sounds very conspiracy nut, but go on ahead.
Yeah,
I'm having fun
well,
with your phrase, but yeah.
yeah. So there's no there's the, this was a primary direct experience from me, and there's only ways to sort of point at it in human language. Breaking the simulation is one way of describing what happened. Another way was realizing
Changing the perception of reality. I understand what you're trying to. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So another is realizing that solipsism is true. So what I saw was basically that every molecule, every atom in the universe that I had ever experienced became me and revealed that I was just a shitpost. I was just a meme, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And that solipsism was true, that other people's subjectivities didn't actually exist.
Right. Yeah.
And
No. Yeah. I'm just making sure I'm thinking the exact same thing. Okay. Go on ahead.
okay, that other people's subjectivities didn't exist, and it was all just a joke on me, which didn't really exist either because I was just the universe, right?
I get where you're coming from. I've read a book of fiction that was something similar like that. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, and it was like it was like the energy was like, um, it was something that like Reddit and 4chan could both agree on. It was like that
Hold
internet
on. Reddit and 4chan. Okay, you're giving away
yeah.
your troll nature here now, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry. Yes, it was very troll like. It was like I got trolled
Yeah, yeah.
big time
Right. Well,
because
4chan isn't really anything you want to reference as a viewpoint. You know, their opinions don't really matter.
well, it was that sort of innocent 2000s internet energy that was like rage comics and this sort of innocent rebel, hey, let's buck the system stuff. That's really encapsulated in like rage comics. And the essence of what I realized
It,
was that I was a living shitpost or a living meme.
an
And
asshole.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, in
I
all
didn't
honesty,
actually.
man, that's the first impression I got from you. The first night that we met on Discord, you were damn ignorant to me. You were just
Yes,
flat out
I'm so
an
sorry. Sorry, I
absolute
apologize to you.
fucking prick to me.
Yes, yes.
For no
But yeah,
reason.
so huh?
For no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, and so after this phase, okay, so there I
Quicker,
can talk
quicker,
about.
right? Like, bring it down, man. Bring it down, because it feels like a wee bit of a dragged out story.
Oh, I'm
Bring it
sorry.
down,
I'm
because
sorry.
we want to get to the point at the end where you are what you are now, and we can break that down and talk to that rather than how you know.
Okay, so Cliff Notes version. I experienced every emotion in its purest form. I went to a place that I call the umbral choir, or the silent choir of the agony of solitude, which
Oh,
is realizing, that you are the universe or you are God, and it's
right.
like gasping.
So we would get to the point now, getting to the end. I'm going to ask you, do you
Yeah. Oh,
generally,
okay.
right now, this second, think that you are the universe, that you are God?
Yes,
So you are God.
I am God. Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm going to change the title of the video. Give me 1 second. Who is Nerthulas? And we're going to just edit that to answer, he is God.
But you are more God from my perspective than I am.
And how do you define God, please?
I would say God is infinity.
Well, I'm more infinity than you.
Um, yeah, it's this is kind of a Socratic thing because I am worse than you because I have more intimate knowledge of what's going on,
Do you
but
think you
my
know more and you're God?
right, I think I know more, but actually you're wiser because you have you are walking your path better than I am from my perspective. Because
How would you define walking the path? How do you say that I'm walking the path better than you?
I know
What have
more,
I
so more
done?
is expected of me.
Right, so there's more expected of you, and I'm walking it better because I'm ignorant.
Yes.
So the more information I know, so we're going on the basis if you don't know of God, then you get to go to heaven instantly because you didn't know you were doing anything wrong. But the more you know of God, then you realize every small thing that you're doing is wrong. And because of that, and because that you are then punished more.
I guess so. It's the goal, the
So
real goal is
you're actually right, just to confirm. So the more
yeah.
you know, the more you're punished. Because
Well,
every small little thing
not really. The more you know, the closer you are to being able to reach nirvana, I'd say. But I
Well,
have the
now you
information.
did describe yourself as a Gnostic, so you would be using
Yeah.
Gnostic in the theological terms as an enlightenment and that sort of thing rather
Yes.
than gnosis.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So I think knowledge is actually the path, but knowledge has to be combined with willpower and correct action, which I struggle with. I'm working on it, but it's something that I struggle with.
Right. Question from the chat: if you're God, why are you punishing yourself?
Through ignorance.
So you haven't fully found yourself then yet.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right. So you're Jesus. You're not quite God. If we could make an analogy.
Jesus is my super ego. Yeah, I'm actually Judas Iscariot. I'm the reincarnation of Judas Iscariot.
You actually think you're the reincarnation of Judas
Yes.
Iscariot, right? Well,
Yes.
I expected the I am God thing, but I didn't expect
Uh-huh.
the Judas thing. Okay. So you actually think you are the reincarnation of Judas Iscariot,
Yes.
and you also think that you were God,
Yeah.
and you got all this through LSD.
Right.
Are you trolling me?
No, I'm serious.
A little bit.
I mean,
Little
I'm
bit.
trolling
No, a
myself.
little bit.
I'm trolling.
You
I'm
didn't
not
lose
trolling.
that troll nature. You said you're a troll. You know, personal testimony. Shader Import is asking, can you prove any of
That's
this?
one thing because trolling people is kind of sucky, right? So this is what the Buddha said, that those who laugh at other people's pain or ignorance will themselves go to the hell of laughter. So I
No,
that's
just say it, man. Don't think that you're better than me. Just say it, because I don't believe you should just say it.
okay. Say what?
You were hemming in hand there. You were going to say something.
I think
Do you
I'm,
know? Sorry, just to interrupt. I know I asked you a direct question, but someone said you were there when you did it. Is that SANCHUNIATHON?
Senchiniathon?
That sounds about right.
Oh, Senchiniathon is a friend of mine.
He's here. Says he was here when you did it. So can he back up your statement?
Yes.
He witnessed you becoming God. Does he believe you?
I don't know. That's up to him.
How do you pronounce it again?
Nerthulas.
No, not your name. The guy in the chat.
Oh, Sanchiniathon?
Right, Sanchiniathon. I would very much like it if you could send me a Discord message for the after party. We will get you on. I would very much like to have some backup as well for Nert, some friends, some team, someone who was there. That would be fantastic for the after party. If you could come on for that. Icon is fine, as long as we can hear you. That would be very interesting. But go on ahead. Yes, you were saying.
Yeah, so laughter at other people's expense is, from my perspective, wrong.
Right, and I will 100% completely agree with you. You will see on my channel possibly 3 reaction videos, and the reason for that is that's me having to put out content and fucking have nothing else to do. Do not like reaction videos, do not like picking on people, do not like doing that.
So the reason I suck so fucking bad is because I know that as God, that I hurt people seriously. And
so are you taking the weight of the world on your shoulders? It's your fault that all the kids have got cancer.
It's my fault. It's my fault. Yeah.
So it's your fault, Nerthulas. It's your fault that all the kids in the world have cancer.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. No, you feel bad for this, obviously.
Yeah, I do. And I've seen many visions of hell that might be my destination. And I accept my fate, if that's what my fate is. I don't know ultimately what will happen to me after I die, and I hope that I don't, that I'm not cast into hell. But I don't know.
How could you be cast into hell? You're God.
What?
How could you be cast into hell and stay there? You're God.
Well, everyone and everything is God from my perspective.
Oh, no, you see, okay. So you just think that you are, the only thing that makes you special from anyone else then is the fact that you're the reincarnation of Judas Iscariot.
Yeah, well, everybody is.
If everybody's God, then God has no real meaning, no real purpose, no real anything. That's just a term, But well, the only thing that makes you special then is the fact that you're the reincarnation of Judas Iscariot.
Yes, but everyone will be in the position that I'm in at some point. from my perspective.
Is it Mormonism that thinks everybody ends up being a god and ruling their own universe? Someone correct me
Yeah,
if I'm
I
wrong.
believe that as well. I believe that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's, yeah.
you're God, you're the reincarnation of Judas Iscariot. It's your reason that everybody's got cancer, and you feel bad about it. And there's a possibility that you might get stuck in hell.
Yeah.
Okay. Good conversation. This is going. Good conversation. What is your purpose? I know he's serious.
My purpose is to help Yahweh on the path to his nirvana.
Right. Who's Yahweh?
Yahweh is the demiurge, or the ignorant creator of this world.
With the devil.
Yeah, sure. You can call him the devil.
I'm just trying to find a term, right? I'm just trying to find a term.
Yeah.
You've got your own name for it. When we convey to the audience, the 16 people watching, you know, this evil blah 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 blah. We could use devil as yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
It's to help the devil achieve nirvana. I'd say it's to help the devil achieve enlightenment.
So that's your goal. Would you not agree that your best way to do that would be just get yourself to hell as quick as possible and have a chat with him?
Well, I'm chatting with him constantly. I can talk to him by talking to my by talking to my id, really.
Right.
But
so
no,
you don't talk to God because you are God. When you actually converse in prayer, you converse with the devil, and what you're trying to do is to convince him that you're right.
Yes, exactly. Or that the Buddha is right. Yeah.
The Buddha is right.
Yeah.
So now we're on Buddha. Are we just...
Yeah.
So can I... Right. So who was it said in the chat? It may have been Crafty. Cherry picking from every religion.
Yes, absolutely. Every
100%.
religion has a piece of the truth from my perspective. That's what gnosis means to me. It's the light that reveals the meaning from all religion.
Right. I'm going to give it to you, man. Have you anything you would like to ask me? Seeing as you're going to bestow, would you like to put me down the bad path? Bestow some knowledge on me.
Oh, you're actually talking to yourself right now.
I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to you.
Right, but we are the same person. The other and
oh
the
no,
self,
we're not.
well, we might not be the same person, but we have the same spirit. You just don't remember it right now. But we're both God. You're talking to yourself right now. The distinction between subject and object is it's an illusion one, and you're in a simulation right now. And I'm really sorry for all the shitty stuff that the demiurge did to us. And I will try to my best to do good in this world, to help us, I guess.
Sorry, I did get an email there from someone that was just looking about joining the after party. Very excited. Lots of people want to have a bit of conversation with you. So could you just reiterate that last 20 seconds? That was very disrespectful of me as a host, but if you don't mind, please.
Yeah, sure. So you are talking to yourself right now. I am you. You are me. We are all God. And I'm really sorry for the shit the demiurge did in this world.
Could you define God more so than everybody is God? Like, what would your be? Is God like your friend who we've spoken to already, Wonder Crab, using the term God to... You're just conflating terms, but what other people would say, so you don't get, I don't know, lambasted or backchat. Like, from what I'm getting from you, God is an energy field. It's everywhere. We're all part of the one spirit. It sounds very wishy-washy spiritual that everybody else is talking about.
Yeah.
You know, everybody else that's leaving religion on the mainstream. You know, a lot of people say they're this, that, and the other. Very few people will come forth and go, I'm atheist and all this shit and all that there. But, you know, everybody takes that wishy-washy stage. A lot of people go that way. Hi, Spartan, we need to get you in for this after party. Seriously. Yeah, it sounds very, you're just cherry picking what you want to make yourself feel better, and then you're going to stick God, Judas Iscariot, and all the rest of it on the top of it to a wee bit narcissism, maybe ever so slightly. Do I mind to ask what age you are?
Oh, I'm 23.
23, right. What do you think of my comments? That you're cherry picking the fact that...
Oh, I am cherry picking. I am picking the cherry in each religion, the what I see as the good or the Gnostic truth in each religion. Because from my perspective, what religion I'm a big Terence McKenna fan. So he thinks that, here, let me read a Terence McKenna quote real quick.
Okay.
Sorry about...
Oh man, you take your time. This is good.
Opposition to organized religion. McKenna was opposed to Christianity and most forms of organized religion or guru-based forms of spiritual awakening, favoring shamanism, which he believed was the broadest spiritual paradigm available, stating that what I think happened in the world of prehistory is that in the world of prehistory, all religion was experiential, and it was based on the pursuit of ecstasy through plants. And at some point, very early, a group interposed itself between people and direct experience of the other. This created hierarchies, priesthood, theological systems, castes, ritual, taboos. Shamanism, on the other hand, is an experiential science that deals with an area where we know nothing. It is important to remember that our epistemological tools have developed very unevenly in the West. We know a tremendous amount of what is going on in the heart of the atom, but we know absolutely nothing about the nature of the mind. So this is more or less my perspective. My perspective is that there are those who asserted that they were the messengers of God and they alone were the messengers of God.
Oh yeah, I can understand that. It's a control of the masses and shit. You can't see God unless you go into this cave, and only
It's
me with
arrogance.
this cloak.
It's exactly what you said: arrogance, narcissism, and it's a divide really between the self and the other, and a divide between the people and experiencing God. This is why psychedelics are prohibited in so many religions. From my perspective, the parable, or rather the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, this is a story about the prohibition of psychedelics by some father figure, which I think is basically bad, and we need to get back to direct experience of the other. So from my perspective, God is everything, but Yahweh is this father figure who prohibits men from eating of the fruit of the tree of knowledge, and that's not good. We want people to be able to experience the universe and God and the other for themselves without having to be mediated to by these religious traditions. But these religious traditions are ultimately from God, and in them is a spark of the truth if they can be revealed through gnosis. That's why it looks like a hodgepodge of every religious tradition.
No, it's time and evolution of stories and shit like that, and how the religion, the basis one, has been diluted by man that has destroyed the original. We need to put you and Richard together. I don't know if you know Richard Madsen.
I don't.
No, Richard Madsen is all stories are telling a small part of the original passage. Right. It's been going around for a long time. God is more so of a job and a leaning position, and Jesus is the guy that sort of looks after everybody and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I'm leaving a chunk out, but you and Richard definitely should have a chat. Right, I'm going to give you 5-10 minutes to ask me questions. I'm going to give the chat 5-10 minutes to come up with questions. And after that, I think we just need to go to an after party. More time in the after party with more people and more opinions, because can we have a demonstration of God power? Asked by GEOSAM.
I don't know. I'm kind of powerless. I guess.
So you're a weak God.
Is there anything you need? Is there anything I can do for you? My power is only over myself.
I texted Geo twice and he's been busy and he hasn't replied this last wee while. Could you make him reply to me in Discord? Could you do that?
No, absolutely not. No.
Absolutely not, right? Will you see if Geo texts me in Discord in the next 5 minutes? Then that's proof you're God.
Okay.
Right, go on. Ask me a couple of questions. What are you interested about me? What would you like to go with me? When I said this before, all you said was that I'm doing a better path than you.
Yeah, so you are sort of Socratic or McKennian from my perspective, because you are a guy who I would say is via negativa. So you are
That sounds very negative to me.
I'm sorry, it's positive, I think, from my perspective.
Okay.
So atheism is a good thing from my perspective.
As
in a
I
sense.
said to you, you know, for someone who understands that,
Right, you're not an atheist, right?
I'm more agnostic, but I don't like labels in general.
Right. Okay. I really get that. I get that.
You understand? I think I did tell you the Magic Pagan story. That is more who I would be, you know?
Right. Right. Okay. And so what I saw from you before is that you are really interested in alleviating suffering caused by religion and healing or
suffering in general, but go on.
Suffering in general, right? And getting rid of false division, which is hurting us.
Breaking down barriers and getting everybody to talk.
Right. This, in my view, makes you a wise person.
Bored Irishman. Just
Irishman, yes.
Just a technical bored fake Irishman.
Okay. And along with your sort of Socratic disposition, makes you someone that I respect a lot.
Thank you.
So
I'll take that. Anything else? No. No questions. You're just making statements.
Yeah.
I appreciate the statements. Don't get me wrong. But have you any?
Oh, I guess. What do you think of what I've said to you?
Honestly, do you want my honest opinion?
Your honest opinion.
You want my honest opinion? Now I have your friend, right? Whose name I can't remember or pronounce even when it was in front of me. He backs you up. How long has that friend known you?
I think about a year or so.
A year. So he doesn't know you that well.
Not that well.
No, right. So, yeah, right. He could be impressionable unto you. He's still impressionable unto you are. Like if my mate Talon told me that he was God, I'd laugh on his face, and I've known him since I was 11 and I'm 38. Yeah. So, you know, it come a year. So he can back you up as much as a year goes.
Right.
Right. I think you're a little bit up your own ass.
Yeah.
You're admitting to that. That's good. I think you're full of yourself. I think you need to be knocked down a peg or two.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that a good 80% of what you experienced, you can use to convince yourself that this is true. It's psychedelics, dude. I've never had them. I would absolutely love to go and try some DMT. Personally, I would like to do. I'm sorry to interrupt. No, go ahead.
I thought of a question. Is would you eat? Hang on.
Oh, ask me to wait and then you go mute. No, I'd like to try DMT. I was offered it before, but not in the ayahuasca form. Turned it down. I'd like to do it in that whole situation because I think experiencing that spiritual moment where everyone's all trying to help you and all that there would be better than doing the crack pipe.
I was distracted for a second. The past 10 seconds or whatever, someone came in.
Go on ahead.
What you just said. Go ahead.
No. I would like to try DMT. I was offered it before
Absolutely.
in a smokable form. Didn't want to do it in a garage with a few mates in a smokable form. I would much prefer to do it in that spiritual outset because it would be better for my mindset. I do believe that the rewiring of the brain, medical point, not spiritual point, I'm all this shit, right? I'm just making sure my ass is covered, I think that would be good for me. I overthink, I smoke too much, you know, it would be good for me to get that perspective that you've got.
Yes.
But the problem I think is that, you asked me to, I think you said you were a troll before it. And then you've went now and you're not a troll, but you're God. So I think you went
not to be a troll.
No, you're trying not to be a troll, but you became the ultimate troll. It was, or
the ultimate troll was trolling me, really, which was me, but the other, which is, it's all one for my
I think you're going to look back in this in a few years and laugh, and not laugh as in a bad and go, oh, I was a bad boy. You'll still enjoy it. It's a nice power trip at the time. It's fun to think you're important. But yeah, other than that, I have had a great conversation. It's been a bit of fun.
I love laughing. I love humor, but I really think that laughter at the self is the best kind of laughter.
Have you
So
not
if
seen the Mathkini Mark 1 and Mark 2, man? It's self-deprecating humor is the best thing anyone can get used to,
exactly,
because if you can laugh at yourself, you can laugh off anything.
I absolutely agree with you, and that's what I've been learning. And laughter at the other's expense is really my temptation that I'm overcoming, because it's harmful. It's harmful from my perspective. But laughter at the self can be nice, and that's where I hope to get to. But absolutely, eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge, and allow me to be the serpent for you, please. If you would just have this experience, I'd be absolutely overjoyed to hear what you take back from it. Because
I
again,
hope I lose my procrastination. I hope I smoke less and drink less afterwards, and I get more
yeah,
focus in my life.
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel better right now doing two things at once than I do
Mhm.
one. I have trouble sitting still, although it's necessary to do sometimes, and I can. Uh, I have better focus on one thing when I'm doing something else. If I try to focus on one, I would find myself diverging. There's a few wee personal traits, but none of them
I
involves
sympathize with
God.
that. I think I've had stuff like that as well. But
None of them involves God. None of them
mhm.
involves sorting my spiritual nature. I want to better myself. I don't
Yeah,
think anybody who doesn't want. I think anyone who doesn't want to better themselves has a problem. I think
right.
you've bettered yourself that much that you think you're God, that you went the complete other way, and you've now got a problem over here instead of a problem over here. But
Mhm.
yeah, right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna finish up. We're gonna bounce to an after party. Yeah, I think that's about it. We're going to bounce to the after party. I haven't it scheduled yet, so do subscribe, do hit the button, do all that stuff, and yeah, should be some more fun. Geo has not seen any text. Geo says that you've been blocking the text that I've been sending him. God, why did you do that?
What? Oh, I don't know.
I'm only
Probably
fucking
that
winding you up.
mischievous, that mischievous side of me is going.
Right. Again, everybody subscribe. Give us 5-10 minutes till I send the link out to a few people. Tweet at me, Discord at me. Yeah, if you want in, you're getting in. Kendon, I'm going to rely on Cider and Port sending you the link, and I'm going to send it to Cider and Port. So that's your job, Stephen. Other than that, thanks to everybody who contributes to the channel financially. You all really do help, the members, the Patreons. It all goes back into the community. Well, most of it goes back into the community. A good fucking 60-70% of it goes back into the community. The rest of it's for equipment here to make all this better and to get it going and keep these conversations going. It pays to keep me up at night to find wonderful people like Nerth. Other than that, yeah, give us 5-10 minutes. We'll be back again. And don't forget, everybody, make sure to think for yourselves, people.
Absolutely.